Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something amazingly awesome to take a look at today, as we are going to check out our second ever, and not only our second ever, but the second ever Artic Figures release, as we have the Velociraptor. And as you can quite clearly see, this is a Jurassic Park inspired Velociraptor, and it looks super cool from what I've seen on the images of the Instagram account of Artic Figures. And also, look at the artwork of this box. Like, talk about an upgrade from the Megaraptor box. The Megaraptor was amazing. The figure itself was amazing, but the box didn't quite have the overall beauty that this box definitely does. First of all, you can see that we have that classic kind of Jurassic Park type of a backdrop there with the red sky, the yellow, and as well as, of course, the palm trees and everything back there. But he had also commissioned some artwork of the Velociraptor, and you can see that here right on the front of the box, and that is super incredible. Like, it honestly is the most nostalgic feeling with this artwork, because it pretty much is exactly the type of artwork you would have seen during Jurassic Park's release. And the artist that created this artwork absolutely nailed it, knocked it completely out of the park as far as that Velociraptor goes. That thing looks beautiful. And you can also again see the Velociraptor name right there with that beautiful Jurassic Park font. And then you can also see again Artic Figures up there. If you look down here, you can see again Clever Girl. We also have some more really cool artwork here of the Velociraptor, and then an image over here of the skull. And if you've been following this figures release on Instagram, you will know that there is actually a skull that comes with the Velociraptor this time around. If we take a look over here at the opposing side, you can again see some more incredible imagery of the Velociraptor, as well as some ferns and stuff. And then here on the back, kind of like a sneak peek of the raptor figure itself. And again, Velociraptor, as well as the Artic Figures contact email right there, and then Artic Figures itself. And then another really cool image again over here. He's really gone above and beyond to improve his products, not just as far as the actual figures themselves go, but again, as you can tell with the presentation of the figures, man, it is so awesome. And then if I flip it over the correct way, you can see on the back we've got a shot of the raptor figure itself, the skull, we've got a shot of the base, and again another shot of the skull right there. And then you can see warning, fragile parts, stand and base, Artic Figures. There's also a trading card that he had created for this release. And then up here you can see all of the stuff that is included with this, saying that it is 16 inches long, it's 6 inches tall, 36 points of articulation, and then the contents would be the trading card, the stand and base, the raptor skull, artwork, and a Velociraptor figure. And then of course Velociraptor up there. And then we also have the age range that would be associated with this release, again 15 plus, since it's not really a toy, it's more of an articulated model. But I am really happy with how much work he has put into this release, and just again amping up the professionalism of his release. Like, this is just beautiful as far as the box art goes. It honestly doesn't get much more beautiful than this, so you can really see again that he's going the extra mile now to not only deliver amazing figures, but an amazing experience all around when it comes to his releases. And then when we open the box itself, immediately you can see that we have a thank you right there. And then we open this up, and then look at up here, you can see we have more artwork. We actually have some information on the Velociraptor as far as its appearance in Jurassic Park, and then again some more of that incredible artwork that he had commissioned. And I don't know if this comes off. Yeah, it absolutely does. So you could actually take that off if you choose to. But I like that. I like that it's up there. I'm going to definitely leave it on there. It looks really cool. And then of course our figure and everything is packed in here within all these little foam peanuts. So we're going to go ahead and try to pull this out of the way for a minute and pull the raptor figure out. So straight away, as we dive into the contents here, you can see that we have our raptor skull, which we will take out here in a little bit and take a look at, of course. Then we also have the card, and first of all, let me wipe that off of there. But man, is that card awesome. Look at how cool it is as far as the shine goes. He has that incredibly cool dinosaur toy photography that he had taken of the raptor figure itself, and really again that classic Jurassic Park type of a feel. But he also has the Artic Figures logo there in front of the Jurassic logo, which is incredibly cool. And then we have information, again I gotta wipe that off, but we have information here on the back. We'll actually take a closer look, of course, at the card as well here in a moment. And then we have the base itself, which looks super, super nice. I love the fact that the Artic Figures logo is on the base as well. So that's awesome. And then the raptor itself, and you can see everything is packed very nicely, very safely, so that the figure and everything arrives in perfect shape. But we're going to go ahead and pull this out of the packaging and check it out from there. So we've got our Velociraptor skull out now and free. And then we also have the base as well. And then the rod that is used to hold the Velociraptor up. We'll go ahead and just apply that. You can see there's like a little hole right there. Just work that in there. There we go. Now that's included as well. It's inserted into the spot. And then, in what might be one of the most breathtaking things I've ever seen, there is our Velociraptor, and that is just absolutely beautiful. Look at that Velociraptor. His paintwork as well is just gorgeous on this raptor. I feel like his paintwork has even improved since the Megaraptor release, which wasn't very long ago. And if we find the spot to put our raptor up here on the base, there we go. We've got our raptor. Actually, let's go ahead and get that skull right there. We've got our raptor now standing on the base and looking amazing. I love the fact that he has included this stand and everything with this release, because it'll definitely help as far as display purposes go with the figure, but also just because I love having bases with my dinosaurs, and this now works perfectly as far as the entire thing. So let's go ahead, jump straight to a closer look at all of this right now. So straight away, I really wanted to show off how cool this card is. You can see this card is about as awesome as it gets. Really professional work on the part of Artic Figures, but you could just see again that really cool shine, as well as the fantastic image of the Velociraptor, and everything just has such a nostalgic feel as far as that, you know, old school Jurassic Park feel goes. And then you can see again the back of the card here with the Velociraptor information, a little bit of info on the raptor as far as the dinosaur itself, as well as dinosaur trivia down here, which is really cool. And you've got the answer upside down. So you can again see a lot of work that he has put into this. And on top of that, he sends it in this really cool kind of like a nice case to keep the card in perfect shape, which is really cool as well. And then we've got our raptor skull, and the raptor skull is beautifully sculpted. You could see it pretty much perfectly replicates that Jurassic Park style Velociraptor, and that's definitely what he was going for. And it in fact is actually in the same scale as the Velociraptor model that we have, so it again is pretty much a perfect replica of the skull of this Velociraptor. And you can see he's also painted it really nicely, given it a nice black coloration, and then kind of dry brushed all the detail out with a really nice light gray. And there's also actually some other tones of color. I can actually pick up on almost like some pinkish tones and stuff within the skull. And you can see all the fine detail again is absolutely there on this skull replica. It is just so highly detailed. It's really quite impressive. Honestly, how Artic Figures came completely out of nowhere, and they are delivering some of the best products I think I've ever seen. And this skull is, you know, obviously not the main course of this release, but boy, is it ever an incredibly cool addition to this release. I love the fact that he's, you know, giving us so much to the releases where we have the card, we have artwork, a beautiful box, this very cool skull, and then of course our Velociraptor itself. And you can see again that as far as the likeness of a Jurassic Park Velociraptor goes, that is beautiful. He has done such a good job on this raptor. The sculpting and detailing aspect is fantastic. You can see some really nice skin texture through the face of the Velociraptor. You can also see some beautiful paintwork as well, as he's given this many different tones of lighter and darker shades of browns, exactly as you see on the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park. You can see some nice color variation down here for the lower jaw as well. I can even see like off-whites and then some light browns and stuff throughout. You can also see that we have some blackish tones here and there. The nostrils are sculpted very nicely right there in the tip of the snout. The eyes as well are sculpted beautifully, and they also have that really nice greenish coloration that you again see on the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park, as well as a black pupil. Nice darkening there around the eye with some, it looks like potentially either dark browns or maybe blacks. He's also given the eye a really nice gloss coat, so it shines very realistically, which is a huge, huge plus. And as a whole, it looks like we have a really nice kind of a dark wash applied to the figure, which adds another element of realism, I think, to the figure. We, of course, can articulate the jaw. We can get that open really quite nice and wide. The inside of the mouth looks great. You've got the tongue sculpted in there. All of the detailing in general looks really good on the inside of the mouth. You can see the upper side there of the inside of the mouth looks really nice. Quite a few different varying tones of color actually included on the inside of the mouth. Really nice gloss coat as well on the inside of the mouth to again add even more realism. And you can see all of the teeth look great as far as the sculpting and detailing aspect goes. Absolutely beautiful work through the course of this entire Velociraptor. Very, very precise, very careful paintwork again, so nothing looks sloppy, which is a huge plus. And you can see how nice that articulated jaw works. Look at that. There's this one area right there where it gets a little bit stuck, but again, I haven't used it yet, so it's probably a little stiff. There we go. Now it's definitely a lot smoother now. There we go. You can see how perfectly it operates and how smooth it is. I'm trying not to open it too far, or too fast, I mean, so I can show you the different lengths that you can open. That's about as wide as it gets as far as the distance of the raptor's mouth goes, but that's like pretty much perfect. Like, it shouldn't get any wider than that, so absolutely nailed it. And look at that head sculpt. That is so awesome. That perfectly looks like the Jurassic Park Velociraptor right there. And again, all of the sculpting, detailing, and paintwork and everything over here looks just as beautiful as it did on the initial side. Some more really nice detailing up here on the top of the head. And what I really love is as you move down the course of the neck, you can see there's quite a bit of different areas of articulation, and they don't really stand out, I don't think. Like, they don't jump out at you. It's not obvious that there's that much articulation to it, which means that they all kind of blend together in a really realistic and natural way, which I think really furthers the beauty of the figure overall. You can also see quite a bit of different variations of color. Again, we have numerous different variations of browns through the course of the neck. You can also see some kind of like black spots and stuff here and there. And then as we move down here to the underside, you can again see some nice lighter tones for the underside. Lots of beautiful skin wrinkles, skin folds and stuff. Just generally some really nice looking skin texture. And you can really see the dark wash and how realistic it makes the entire figure look overall. And you continue to move down, you again have that type of coloration through the entire figure. As you move down into the body, look at how beautiful that skin texture looks, and the paint job as well. Like, this is so insanely high quality. I know at one point Chronicle Collectibles were going to release a raptor like this, and I can say that the loss of that figure when they went bankrupt has been Artic Figures' gain, because they have now gone ahead and created an even better version, in my opinion, of that Velociraptor, again with so much articulation and beautiful paintwork, as well as again that perfect screen accurate sculpt. As you move down, you can again see all sorts of detailing within the Velociraptor. As we lead down into the arm, you've got the nice muscle definition, as well as again more really nice skin texture. You can see as the color lightens up a little bit here in certain parts of the arm. And then as we move down into the hands, look at those hands. They don't get better than that as far as a Jurassic Park Velociraptor goes. Very long, creepy, alien-like. I always felt like they looked very alien-like as far as the fingers go on the Velociraptor's hand here. And you can also see the nicely painted nails with a black. And then, of course, we're able to move those around and stuff because we have articulation galore on this figure. But here in the stomach region, you can again see tons of beautiful skin texture, lots of really nice paintwork, and incredibly smooth transition from the darker brown there to the lighter coloration of the side of the stomach and the underside. And you've also got some nice skin wrinkles and stuff right here, again, right behind the arm, and then of course some more skin wrinkles here right in front of the thigh, and just generally, again, so much beautiful paintwork. There's so much depth to the paint job of this raptor figure. As you continue to move along, you can also see the spinal column here running along the back of the figure. You've got the hip bone nicely elaborated right there, moving down into the thigh. Again, the thigh muscle is very, very nicely defined. You've got a plethora of coloration here as well, with, again, so many different varying browns and washes and everything that have been applied. As you move down, you can definitely take note to the calf muscle as well. Again, more really nice coloration. And then leading down into the foot sculpt, use some nice scoots down the toes. Again, that classic raptor claw there, that sickle claw. And really, again, I would say screen accurate for sure as far as the sculpting of that raptor foot goes. It looks pretty much exactly as I recall the raptor feet. Like, specifically when the raptor is chasing the kids in the kitchen and you get that nice shot of the feet of the raptor. Like, that looks exactly as I can remember them looking. And then as you move back up here, you can again see the many different areas of articulation leading out here through the course of the tail. You can see the nice lighter tone of color for the underside, but again, you have tons of areas of articulation as you move out the length of the tail here of our Velociraptor as we lead out to the tip of the tail, and some more, if my camera would focus on it, some more incredible paintwork as well as incredible sculpt and detail. You can see all sorts of creasing in the skin, all kinds of really nice skin texture, and again, many different varying browns, lots of color variation through the course of the figure. He's done a very good job of bringing this to life in a very realistic way where it doesn't just look like generic paint on a figure, it looks like straight up body color with lots of different skin tone. You can see the entire underside, again, is as highly detailed as we see on the upper side. And then, of course, you can look at the opposing side, which really shouldn't look much different because, again, it's going to look exactly as it did on the other side, being an articulated figure. The arms are, of course, I move those around, so it's up to you how you move those. But all of the sculpting and detailing is super crisp, incredibly nice looking throughout, and of course you have the really nice paintwork that looks exactly as beautiful as it did on the other side over here. Again, really nice looking foot sculpt right there, and then as we lead back up, you lead out the length of the tails. So if you are a fan of the Jurassic Park Velociraptors, this figure here is a dream come true. There is no doubt about that. This thing is honestly mind-blowing. And then we've got ourselves our base. If we turn it actually this way, you can see we have some really nice texturing, some nice earthy areas here for the base. You've got twigs and stuff all over. Really well done. Beautiful tree that has been downed here, as well as some rocks and stuff. And you can see the Artic Figures logo again right there on the front of the base. And there's so much paintwork to this as well, just like we saw in the actual Raptor itself. He has done a phenomenal job of bringing this base to life in just as realistic of a way as he did with the Velociraptor. I love that he's also given the tree here the remnants of the tree, kind of like some moss and stuff over it, so it adds even more realism to the base. And the base is incredibly vibrant as well as far as the actual sculpting and detailing, and the paintwork that he has given this is super high quality and very realistic looking. So the base is honestly just as incredible, I would say, as the Velociraptor itself. So to say I am impressed with this release from Artic Figures would honestly be putting it very, very mildly. This is amazing. And then as far as the articulation goes, which is something that I'm sure many people are wondering about, we again have the articulated jaw, which works very nicely. You have articulation right here on the back of the head, so you can move this area of the head around a little bit. You can also articulate right here, and all of these articulated joints can go up, down, left, right, so you can really, again, move the area that you are looking at quite a bit. You've got another spot right here, and then another spot which is very stiff because I haven't moved it right there. So that allows some super smooth posability with your Velociraptor and allows you to pretty much turn the head anywhere you would like, and it looks really nice, really realistic, super, super nice looking articulation, allowing about pretty much any possibility as far as posability that you would like. And then you have the articulation in the arms. You can see forward and back. It can also come out away from the body. You've got the elbow right there. Very nice operation of that. And then you, of course, have the wrist. And then you have the articulation here in the midsection. A little joint right here you can see right there. And then you have the articulation of the hip. Again, forward and back very nicely. Also can kind of come out away from the body a little bit. Then you have two areas right here in the knee, which allows even more incredible articulation of that area. And then down here we also have the ankle area of articulation, forward and back, which works really, really nicely. And then as we lead back up into the tail, this is where the most articulation of the figure is, because there is just so much. And rather than pointing out every single joint and moving it, I'm just going to show you all the different areas. So you've got one here, 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 there, 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 here, 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 and here. So as you can tell, there are a lot of different areas of the articulation of the tail, and as you can see, that can then allow you to pose the tail any way you would like. I think this is so much better than a wire tail, because his articulation, the way that the joints look here moving along, are so smooth. I don't feel like anything looks out of place. It doesn't look obnoxious, and it allows you the ability to, again, display it perfectly, whereas with like a rubber tail, it'll kind of like bend back sometimes, or it just won't go perfectly. And then when it comes to like stop motion, like that is dream-worthy articulation for anybody that's creating a stop-motion version of a Jurassic Park Velociraptor. It doesn't get any better than that as far as the articulation goes. And then, of course, you have the stand that you just put your Velociraptor on, and the Raptor stands there picture perfectly. And then, for a size, even though actually, let's straighten the tail out or it's not going to be an accurate measurement, but even though the box already told us the length of the Raptor figure, but you could see that it was no lie right there, 16 inches, pretty much on the dot, or about 40 and a half, closing in on 41 centimeters. So really quite long. And then as far as a height goes, actually, let's go ahead and get that Raptor head up a little bit more upright. You are looking at about 6.5 inches, or around the 16.5 centimeter area, maybe a little bit above. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Artic Figures Velociraptor. And Robert Muldoon is absolutely living his worst nightmare, as there is a Velociraptor that huge next to him. But you can without question see that this Velociraptor sports some very impressive size, especially with the Papo Rex, who is a pretty big figure there next to him. I, without question, could expect that Raptor to take Mr. Papo Rex down and make a meal out of him. And what's amazing about this is this Raptor, again, I believe is in 1/12 scale, and he's actually creating a 1/12 scale Tyrannosaurus Rex as well, as far as a JP style Rex goes, to release at some point in the future. I don't know how far off that'll be, probably a little while, but the fact that he is creating a 1/12 scale Tyrannosaurus Rex that will go with this Velociraptor is amazing, because he had actually shown off images on his Instagram account of this Raptor next to that Rex, and actually having the Raptor here in hand. Wow, that's all I can say. To think about that Rex and how huge it is, because this Raptor actually looks small next to that Rex, and this Raptor definitely has some pretty good size to it, so that is really amazing. You really need to check out the Instagram account of Artic Figures and keep checking out all the stuff that he is constantly posting, because it is amazing. And then for another comparison, here is the previously released Artic Figures Mega Raptor next to the Velociraptor. And you can see they're similar in size, but the Velociraptor is definitely bigger. The Mega Raptor is fairly close in length, but I think the Velociraptor wins that round as well. But obviously, height-wise, you can see, even though the Mega Raptor is a little crouched currently, but you can definitely see again that they are very similarly sized. So if you happen to have been one of the lucky ones to capture this Mega Raptor, you'll have a pretty good idea, I think, roughly of what the size of the Velociraptor is. And then for another comparison, as far as a Mattel Velociraptor goes, next to our Artic Figures version, you can see there's clearly no comparison here. The Artic Figures version is way larger. And then, even though it's not from the same film, we have the Amber Collection version of the Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptor next to our incredible Artic Figures Jurassic Park Velociraptor, and you can definitely see again that they sport kind of a similar size in certain aspects, but the Artic Figures version yet again is quite a bit larger, especially in the length department. And then just a few random figures. We have the Schleich Diabloceratops, we also have a Mattel Dilophosaurus, and the Safari LTDU Tyrannus here. Again, as far as a comparison goes, showing you the size roughly of our Velociraptor. And then for one final comparison, there is the Kenner Young Rex next to our Velociraptor, yet again showing you that the Raptor is really quite sizable overall. And something else that I wanted to show you guys, actually, before we leave the size comparison area, here is the skull that comes with it. And if you put it up next to the head of the Raptor, look at how cool that is. You can see that 100% is exactly in scale with this Velociraptor. So an incredibly cool addition to this set, and I really wanted to point that out because I just realized that I didn't mention that prior, and that is super, super cool. So this Artic Figures Jurassic Park style Velociraptor is a dream come true for any collector that collects a lot of really cool articulated Jurassic Park type stuff. Previously, we didn't really have too many Jurassic Park style articulated figures outside of the toy line, so I'm loving the fact that there are so many currently creating different types of articulated Jurassic Park style dinosaurs, and as you can quite clearly see, Artic Figures has now thrown their hat in as well, and I know that he's going to continue creating different Jurassic Park style dinosaurs moving forward, but he also has plans of creating more accurate type of dinosaurs as well. So there's definitely a lot that he has that he's going to be coming out with in the future from Artic Figures, which is incredibly exciting. But this Velociraptor is fantastic, and in my opinion, way better than the Mega Raptor, and the Mega Raptor was really top of the line incredible. but there's just so much more that he's added into this release with the addition of that super nice card, the really cool skull, the amazing box art, the artwork that's included with it as well. And then, of course, we have a base for this one. We've got a stand. Like, there's so much more that has been upgraded on this one compared to the previous Megaraptor release, which I really didn't think it could get much better than that Megaraptor, but I was clearly proven wrong here by Artic Figures because this Velociraptor is next level. The sculpt really nicely replicates the Jurassic Park Velociraptor, in my opinion. I think he has nailed the accuracy of it perfectly, and he does a lot of homework when creating his sculpts so that he can kind of get them as screen accurate as possible. And as he goes through the process of creating them, if he notices something that's incorrect or if somebody points it out to him, like, he'll go back and fix it. So he always wants to give you, again, the absolute best possible product and the most screen accurate product. And I really think he's done a perfect job of doing that with this Velociraptor. And he's incredibly fast at sculpting. Like, he pops these figures out so quickly, it's really quite crazy. Like, as far as the sculpting process goes, of course, creating the figure and getting it painted, put together, printed out, like, that does take time. But as far as actually going from an idea in his head to actually having some sculpt work done on it, like, it's so fast. It really impresses me. But again, the Raptor is incredibly highly detailed, sporting so much detail, so much skin texture, skin wrinkles, fine detail throughout, that it is just about as highly detailed of a Jurassic Park Velociraptor as it gets. And then, of course, the paintwork is really nicely done. I would say perfectly replicating the Jurassic Park Velociraptor with so many different really beautiful tones of browns throughout. And he has done just a fantastic job of bringing the figure to life in a realistic way with his paintwork. There's a lot of depth to the paint, a lot of different varying tones of colors and the dark wash and everything. Like, it's definitely the type of figure you really need to see in person to truly appreciate how amazing the paint job is on this figure. And he's also added in some nice elements of realism, like gloss coats and stuff on the eyes, inside the mouth, the nails, all of that. So he adds a lot of realism on top of the gorgeous paint job that he's given. And then you have insane amounts of articulation, which, again, is pretty much a dream come true for anybody that is a fan of Jurassic Park and a fan of articulated dinosaur figures or stop motion or just being able to create your own dioramas. Like, this is perfect for any of that, and definitely the type of figure that you're going to be able to pretty much create and display the figure in any pose. Like, you really can position this pretty much any way you want, and it looks great, and the articulation works so smoothly and stays in place so perfectly. I really can't praise this figure enough. I really, really can't. And then the incredible addition of the card. The card is so cool. He clearly put a lot of work into that card, and it shows. And on top of that, he had it created in the most flashy way possible with that really cool shine. And again, perfectly replicating that beautiful Jurassic Park nostalgia feel. Then you have the skull as well, which is just super, super cool. And I love the fact that it is incredibly highly detailed, really nicely painted, but also in scale with the Velociraptor model itself, which is a huge, huge plus if you ask me. And then you have the awesome base, which is, I would say, just as realistic, lifelike, and high quality as the Velociraptor itself, and the stand that helps to hold it up just to make sure you can position your Raptor again any way you would like, which I also love. And then, of course, if you go back to the box was also on another level of beauty. So as a whole, this is a fantastic release from Artic Figures, and I cannot recommend purchasing one of these enough. This will actually go on sale on Friday, this coming Friday, July 29th. I believe he's going to be listing around 10 of them for sale. So if this is something you are interested in picking up, make sure you are ready to go on the Artic Figures Etsy shop. Again, keep following his Instagram account so that you know exactly what time this will go up for sale, because I'm not 100% sure of the time, but I know it will be this coming Friday. If I can find out the exact time that it will be going up, I'll probably update you guys in the community section just to let you know so that you can have a chance of picking this up. Again, I believe he's going to have 10 coming out on Friday, and with as much work goes into this figure, I can understand why he's going to do a run of 10, and then I believe he's probably going to be creating more in the future, and I know he's definitely going to be releasing some unpainted ones as well. But again, make sure you're ready to buy this on his Etsy shop on Friday, July 29th. Once I figure out the time, I'll let you guys know in the community section, because this is a huge recommendation from me. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.